Hey there, y'all. Disney D Prince here today with another Barbie story time. These stories are never mine, but they are definitely Barbie's. You may know Barbie from her time in the dream house, you may know her from her time as a princess, but these stories come from the time when she was the teenage fashion model. Barbie has been an icon since 1959, and these are some of her earliest stories. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's story. Barbie's Big Prom by Betty Lou Maybee. It should have been a wonderful morning to waken to. 1 week from today, she would be going to the junior prom. Barbie smiled at the thought of it, but as she reached out to touch the coverlet where shafts of spring sunlight lay across her bed, the smile faded into a worried frown. Today would also be the Saturday her cousin Lulu Bell Rollins would arrive from New Orleans. Barbie still couldn't understand why her mother had wanted to invite Lulu up for the prom. After all, the two girls hadn't seen each other since childhood. Well, not for 3 or 4 years anyway. Just because Lulu Bell's spring vacation came the same week as the junior prom didn't seem like the perfect time, as Barbie's mother had put it, to plan this reunion. But I am one of the princesses of the prom, Barbie had reasoned with her mother. Maybe I'll even be crowned queen that night. I won't have a minute to see if Lulu's having a good time. And you know how shy she is. Yes, Your Highness, Barbie's mother had teased. I know you'll be busy, but I've spoken to Mrs. Carpenter, and she said that Sonny would be delighted to escort Lulu. They'll be sweet together. Besides, she finished, your father and I are patrons of the prom, don't forget. We'll be there to see that Lulu meets your friends. But you're just nervous, dear, Barbie's mother had added. It's really going to be a lovely evening for all of us. But now, as Barbie stood trying to decide whether it was warm enough to wear a cotton dress to the station, she began to wonder again why Lulu Bell had accepted the invitation. Had she even been to a big dance like this before? Barbie remembered how Lulu had to be dragged to the dancing lessons they both took at Miss Porter's classes. Lulu always depended on me to help her mix in, Barbie mused. She could still see Miss Porter standing sternly before the girls' side of the class one day, delivering a lecture with only Lulu really needed. Now, young ladies, Miss Porter preached, we must remember that giggles are not conversation. We aren't afraid of our dancing partners, are we? She had nodded gravely. Then Lulu Bell had giggled, and the whole class laughed. Barbie, Barbie, a voice called, interrupting her thoughts. Please come along now. Ken's here. It was Barbie's mother, calling from the downstairs hall. At this good news, Barbie ceased her daydreaming and quickly dressed. A look at the clock showed they had less than an hour before Lulu Bell's train arrived. What's this cousin of yours like? Ken asked as he sat with Barbie while she hurriedly swallowed breakfast. Well, I haven't seen her in ages, Barbie answered, but I think she and Sonny will hit it off. Boy, that's Sonny, Ken laughed. I hope your cousin can carry the whole conversation. Girl's tongue-tied, old Sonny boy. Yes, I hope she can too, Barbie thought silently. Well, my mother was the matchmaker, she said out loud. She knows Sonny and she knows Lulu, so I guess she knows what she's doing. Barbie ended brightly. She was beginning to look forward to seeing Lulu now. It was going to be fun after all, she felt. Now that Ken was here, she wondered why she'd even started to worry. While Ken was parking the car at the station, Barbie and her mother had walked up to the head of the long ramp leading up from the tracks. As Barbie remembered Lulu, she was such a short, chubby girl, they might have missed her in the crush of the passengers on the platform below. Barbie's mother saw Lulu first. Look, there she is, she exclaimed excitedly. Barbie blinked hard. Could this slim, vivacious-looking girl really be chubby little Lulu? As Barbie stared wide-eyed, Lulu stopped at the foot of the ramp and handed her luggage to a porter. "Isn't she pretty?" Barbie's mother beamed. "Wow, is she?" Ken agreed as he joined them. "What'll I tell Sonny he got a date with a redhead? Wow!" Lulu had seen them now, and she ran happily up the ramp, arms outstretched in greeting. "Barbie, honey!" Lulu laughed. "And Auntie Margaret! Isn't it just marvelous to be together again?" "My dear," Barbie's mother began, "you look so pretty. It's so good to have you here." "Yes, we're so glad you could come," Barbie added. "I love your suit. It's a wonderful color with your hair and everything." "Oh, you're just a darling to notice." Lulu hugged Barbie joyously as she spoke. "I'm just thrilled to be here. And I've brought love and kisses from Daddy and Mother to you, Auntie, and Grandmother Rollins sends you her very special love, Barbie. She's just tickled about you being a queen and all." "Well, I'm only a princess at this point," Barbie corrected her. "But you'll be the queen," Ken chimed in. "Hi, I'm Ken," he introduced himself. In the excitement, Barbie had completely forgotten him. "Why, I'd know you anywhere, Ken darling," Lulu smiled. "When Barbie wrote me how her school had both princesses and princes for the prom, I thought that was so cute. I just knew you'd look like a prince." "Uh-huh," Ken blurted. "Well," he said quickly, "I'll go bring the luggage to the parking lot. You'll see my car there." "Isn't he a dear?" Lulu Bell drawled as Ken disappeared into the crowd. "Sort of shy-like and sweet," she reflected, tapping one white gloved finger on her chin. "Let's go find the car," Barbie declared. She felt confused. How could anyone change so much as Lulu had? Lulu's hair used to be a pale nothing color, and no matter how much she combed it, it would fly in all directions. Now it was like a golden lights playing softly around her face. And her face. Barbie thought it would still be a sunburned mess of freckles, but it was so creamy white that it made her eyes look as green as jade. Even her voice was new, like a gay melodic bell. Driving home, Barbie scarcely listened to Lulu's description of the train trip. She wondered if she herself had changed as much, for the good, as Lulu had. She'd just never given it any thought before. Suddenly, Ken's hand was over hers, joggling her to attention. "Hey," he said quietly, "listen in. We've got an idea." "We?" Barbie asked rather sharply. She realized as soon as she'd spoken. "Lulubelle and I. And you, we hope," he explained. "How about calling Sonny from your house and seeing if we can do a double date tonight? Lulu would like to meet him." "Oh, not tonight. Do you mind?" Barbie said with a quick smile to Lulu. "Let's just you and I have a good old gab fest. I want to see your prom dress, and we have 1,000 things to talk about. Maybe we can call Sonny tomorrow. Don't you think that's a better idea, Mother?" Barbie's words had rushed out. She looked hopefully to her mother for a nod of agreement, but there was no nod in the tone of the answer. "If that's what you'd prefer," her mother said simply. The car was stopped in their driveway now, and as Ken helped her out, Barbie was sure a strange stillness had fallen between them. Suddenly, she wanted to run straight into the house, away from everybody. It was Lulu's voice that stopped her. "Oh, Barbie, honey," she was saying softly. "That's just what I'd like to do too, darling. I just got carried away with all the excitement. Why, I guess I felt as if the prom was tonight instead of a whole week off." Her eyes were merry with warmth and friendship as she squeezed Barbie's hand. And in that moment, even though Barbie couldn't understand why she had acted in such a selfish way just minutes before, she felt the strain leave her. "Come on, then," Barbie said, smiling at Lulu. "Let me show you to our room." And the two friends ran into the house. That week, the week that followed, fairly flew for them. If they weren't staying up too late to talk and talk, they were staying up too late to fix their prom dresses. Barbie had chosen the waltz-length gown she had modeled in a recent fashion show. When Lulu saw how lovely it was, she convinced Barbie that the neckline on her gown needed changing. All day Saturday, they discussed new versions. Finally, Barbie's mother suggested that they might help with her gown before their own dresses were altered beyond repair. At last, 8 o'clock chimed in the lower hall. Both girls looked like real princesses. Barbie's dress was all red and white and shimmery, like a silken flame. The strapless top was of rich red velvet. Below it, a full white satin skirt billowed out, shining where it caught the light. Her belt was a streak of softly glittering gold. White satin pumps and a matching satin envelope purse added their touches of elegance. When Lulu Bell was ready, even Barbie's father had to whistle his admiration as she made her sweeping entrance. Her gown was an exquisite gray-green lace, bouffant and reaching almost to the ankles. With her creamy white skin, she made one think of the gracious era where Southern belles descended magnificent staircases on the evening of a gala ball. The girls flushed with pleasure at the applause that greeted them. Ken and Sonny, starched and polished in their white dinner jackets and black trousers, stood waiting them. Ken was first to step forward with his corsage, but Sonny soon found courage to follow with his white roses. "Well, I thank you, Sonny dear," Lulu exclaimed. "Aren't these just precious? With my dress, I'll just put them right here," she said, seeming to sense that poor Sonny wouldn't be able to pin the flowers on her waist without pinning himself to them in the process. "Boy, look at Lulu," said Ken, grinning. "She's going to make a lot of us Yankee boys join the Confederacy tonight, huh, Barbie?" His question caught Barbie off balance. Why would Ken so quickly include himself as one of the boys? Why hadn't he said a word about her gown? "Well, let's go," she found herself saying. "This Yankee girl is supposed to arrive on time if she still wants to be in the royal court." Barbie wished she hadn't answered Ken in just this way, but no one seemed to have noticed as they walked to their cars outside. At the prom, Barbie was whirling onto the dance floor with Sonny Carpenter for the third dance in a row when she realized she hadn't seen Ken for almost an hour. As Sonny struggled to make polite conversation with her, Barbie pretended not to hear. Where was Ken? Why, after only 2 dances with her, had he cut in on Sonny? He had taken Lulu off in a sweeping circle of the floor past all those Yankee boys, who, as he had so clearly predicted, had eyes for no one but Lulu, the new girl in town. When the dance had finished, Barbie sent Sonny off to fetch some punch. She had to find her mother to see if she'd seen Lulu lately. But her mother had disappeared too, so Barbie went to the powder room instead. The evening had turned into agony as she joined a group primping before all the mirrors. All conversation seemed to stop as the other girls began to shuffle silently through their bags for combs and lipsticks. They had noticed too. Barbie smoldered. "Everyone knows my lovely Louisiana house guest has taken Ken away. I can't go back. Out there," she groaned inwardly. "I can't." "Your dress is just beautiful, Barbie," one of the girls finally said. "We just know you'll be the queen of the prom." "Thank you," Barbie managed to mumble. Then they heard the strains of the grand march music, signaling the start of the procession of princes and princesses. After the other girls left excitedly, Barbie rose slowly and followed them out. While the procession moved toward the bandstand, Barbie stole a glance at the line of princes marching beside her. With a sigh of relief, she saw that Ken had managed to tear himself away from Lulu long enough to join his classmates again. Now they were all standing before the platform. The music had stopped, but Barbie could hardly hear what the class president was saying. Her temples throbbed with anger and embarrassment. She could see heads bent toward each other in the crowd, whispering, she was sure, about Ken's new girlfriend. Suddenly, the room seemed to explode with applause and cheers. As the orchestra began to play, the class president took Barbie's hands, then Ken's, leading them out on the line of the platform. They had been chosen king and queen of the royal prom court. The applause grew wilder as Barbie made her way to center stage for the coronation. Ken was first to have the silvery paper crown placed on his head. He looked so handsome, Barbie forgot all of her anger. As she waited nervously for her own crown, a startling hush fell over the audience. When Barbie saw the reason for their surprise, it made her gasp too. In place of the regular silver paper crown to match Ken's, a real, gleaming, golden filigree tiara was being placed on her head. The crowd burst into new applause now. Barbie could hardly hear Ken as he whispered loudly in her ear, "The tiara is that very special love your grandmother Rollins sent, Barbie. Lulubelle brought it to you." "Oh no. Oh, Ken." Barbie turned away. Ken gave her a quick, reassuring hug. Now she began to understand why he had disappeared. "Oh, why didn't you tell me?" she finally asked. "Come now, my fair queen," he teased her. "The ball can't go on until we royal ones have the first dance. Come, I command thee," he said with mock seriousness. The moment their dance ended, Ken rushed Barbie to her proud parents. During their happy embraces, Barbie kept looking for Lulu. Then she saw her, standing almost shyly nearby with Sunny. "Lulu, dear, dear Lulu, how can I ever thank you?" she asked warmly. "Then it was a surprise." Lulu was overjoyed. "Why, I thought I'd just burst with the secret. I just didn't know where to hide the tiara. You almost found it when we unpacked, so Auntie Margaret put it in her room. Then tonight," she stopped for breath, "I just knew you saw Ken and me leave the ball when we had to go out to the car for it." Barbie's mother was laughing too as she tried to explain how they'd gone out with the wrong keys and had to make 2 trips. "Oh dear, yes," Lulu sighed. "And poor little Sonny, that lamb just danced his feet off with you, I bet." Then they all laughed and laughed together, till tears filled Barbie's eyes. As soon as she could speak again, Barbie said in queenly tones, "As my first royal command," she began, only to stop, then finish softly, "I think the king should dance with my dearest cousin." Barbie's mother stood close beside her as they watched Ken waltz away with Lulu. It was the first time Barbie's mother noticed that Barbie still held the silver paper crown in her hand. "What's this, dear? You won't want that now, will you?" she asked. "Yes, Mother," Barbie said firmly. "I expect you could guess why. But I want to tell you anyway." She went on, "I always want to keep both of these crowns. I never want to forget tonight and how I found out that my jealousy made me undeserving of even this fake crown." "Then you've learned a lot, Barbie," her mother said approvingly. Barbie's father had joined them now, and as she stood between her parents, Barbie finally felt as if she were, truly, the queen of the prom. That's it for today, y'all. Thank you to the original authors of this work and to the enduring nature of the written word for allowing these stories to persevere through time. As always, check the video description below to see the original publication information to get a copy of these for yourselves. As always, be good, y'all. Bye.